Hey everyone, it's Theresa. Today is a really fun video, like always. It's all lemons, so keep watching if you're into that. I've got a wood sign that I picked up from Target. I think I got it on clearance. I gave it a full coat of some chalk paint, some chalkboard paint from Dollar Tree. And now I am taking this Chalk Couture transfer. This is the club transfer for the month of May, so you can still get it if you're watching this within the first couple of days of the video. And I did spray it with a little bit of some spray adhesive. It is specifically made for stencils. I like to use it on my Chalk Couture stuff when it's kind of lost some of its stickiness. I'm taking the color Bumblebee and the color Meadow. I also will use the color Dune, and you'll see that in just a minute. We're going to take some of this Meadow. It is like a super bright green. It is definitely a Kelly green, grass green, whatever you want to call it. And I'm just going to smooth that all through those little leafy bits on the top and the bottom. And those are, I guess, supposed to be like lemon blossoms. I don't really know. I don't have a lemon tree. I should though. I've seen some actually grow in Florida. If I have any green thumb people, let me know if they grow in Florida. So once I've gotten those top and bottoms, I'm going to do a little peel back. When I'm doing this, what it's going to do is it's going to obviously peel back the part of the transfer that I just chalked on, but it's going to keep it from drying in the screen because these are silk screen. So if you don't do stuff like that, you're going to run the risk of having it dry in the screen because they dry super quick. If you've got a less detailed transfer or you're using just one color, you don't have to worry about it. But since I'm doing multiple colors and multiple spaces, this is just a good, it's a good trick to do to make sure that you are going to get the desired look. That one right there that I'm using is the color Dune. So I'm going to use that on some parts that I kind of wanted to be a little bit more subdued because I am going to use that Bumblebee yellow, and that is going to be super bright, but it's so pretty. You're going to see in just a minute how cool it looks. Now I will then go in with the Bumblebee. I'm going to do that for the ice cold and the lemonade part. I'm actually going to skip the lemons on here, and don't worry, there will be plenty of lemons. I'm going to work that Bumblebee through this whole part of the screen. That is a super yellow. If you want more subtle colors, there's definitely a different color palette you can pick up as far as the colors from Chalk Couture. That would probably be like Sunnyside for a yellow, or you could do Eucalyptus for a green if you want more subdued. And here's how it looks all with all of the chalking done. But what I have here now is the ribbon. This is a Dollar Tree ribbon. It's a Farmhouse ribbon, I believe is what they're calling it. And I just basically tied it with the knots on the front side. I thought that was just a cute little touch. And because I didn't know if I made it enough knots to keep it from slipping out of the holes, I went ahead and just added a little bit of hot glue. I did it on kind of like the bottom part of the knot, and now I'm going to do it to the top part of the holes on the back side, just to make it a little bit more secure. I felt like I was less worried about it going somewhere. Now I'm going to keep it off the table because I am not 100% sure that my glue is ready to go yet. And I just did a little shoestring bow with that same ribbon just to put up here in the corner. And I'm going to also kind of hot glue down the tails a little bit to give them a little bit of like a more desired look. I don't want them just hanging down because I didn't want them to cover up my actual words. So I'm just giving them a little bend. And that way it'll be super cute. Again, if you're interested in this, check my link below. It is in the description box for my club members if you're interested. And of course, this is how it turned out. It's so cute. I love it. I'm going to use that same transfer on this one. I've got just a glass jar. I want to say it's probably from like around Christmas time from Target again. This just happened to be what I had that I thought would look cute. So I did not do the fuzzing. Usually you will see me fuzz the transfer first, but since I've used this transfer a few times already, you don't really have to do that every time. And what I've got it on right now is glass. If you have a brand new transfer and you're putting it on glass, make sure you fuzz a lot because otherwise you run the risk of it really sticking and really stretching when you take it off. I'm going in with the color Black Velvet, and I am just going to do the words on this part, just the ice cold lemonade, and you'll see in a second why I'm doing it in black. And if you wanted it more of a subtle tone to it, you can also do it in the color Storm, which is a dark gray. Really, really pretty color. It's one of my favorites of the colors that they have. But again, same kind of concept, just running it all the way through the silk screen. You put it on and you remove any of the excess, and you put the excess back in the jar. Now I am doing this with the paste, which is washable, because this way if I want to switch it out, I can. There's not a big deal. If you want to do something on glass or ceramic and make it permanent, you heat set it. I don't know exactly how you do the heat setting for the glass. I know usually with ceramic you put it in the oven, but if you're interested, let me know. I can probably find some info for you. But here's the peel. It turned out so cute. I have a little spot that is needing a little touch up, so I'm just going to take this little tool and clean up in that couple little spots that ended up having some kind of come outside of that transfer. I don't love chalk for like rounded surfaces, so I'm really happy with how this one turned out. They don't do the best on rounded surfaces, but this one, I guess, since it's not like super circular, I don't know. I'm not really sure. For some reason though, it worked really well on this one. Some instances it's not as great. I took a chance and it paid off because I love this thing. So now, of course, we're going to throw some lemons in here. I've got a little bit of a variety. I've got some big ones, some small ones, medium ones. I think that I got maybe like the large ones from Dollar Tree, or maybe not. If they didn't come from Dollar Tree, they came from Hobby Lobby. Check them out. You can get them when they're half price, and it's a pretty decent pricing when they're half off. Same ribbon as before. I'm just going to put it around the top part with a really cute little shoestring bow. And I always struggle with my bows, so if it's not a great bow, I'm sorry guys. This is what I'm working with, you know. Maybe someday, I will learn to do a little bit better on my bows. Today is not that day though. But these were the same transfer, so you really get a lot of different uses out of them. And in my description box down below is all the link to go to my link tree if you want to check it out. And if you like this one, make sure that you're checking it out before the end of May. After that, it will be gone. And here it is, all finished up. Again, super cute. I love this one. So my name is Theresa. If you are new here, I would love it if you would consider subscribing. I do all kinds of videos. I like a variety of things. So you've got some Farmhouse, recently I've gotten into resin stuff, which I love. And I mean, like I said, lots and lots of different things. So if you're into that kind of content, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Give me a big thumbs up. And today is part of the easy peasy lemon squeezy DIYs, where we are all doing lemons, and it is hosted by Brenda over at Monter's Market. Her channel and the playlist will be listed for you below. Make sure you go check it out. I have a small wood cutting board. I've already done a coat of linen white chalk paint from Rust-Oleum. And here I have a graphic that I printed out on tissue paper. I love printing on tissue paper. I have a video, if I can remember, I will link it for you below, of how I show in a video like the full process of setting up to actually print on tissue paper. And both of these graphics are from Creative Fabrica. I'll have that listed for you down below too. And I will try my best to find those specific ones. I think they're from the same pack. So you can get Creative Fabrica for like $1 for the first month. So what I do is I just go in and I download like everything my heart's desires, or save a bunch of it. And then when you're ready to do the downloads, do your 1 month for $1 and cancel it before that month is up. Otherwise it does start to charge you the full price. I think it's like $19 a month, which isn't awful. But anyways, I've already done a coat of Mod Podge underneath this tissue paper, and I put a piece of parchment paper down, and then I did basically ironed on top of it. I just used my mini press from Cricut, and I came to the conclusion, 1, I'm out of frame, which I'm sorry, and 2, that I have the bottom part was doubled up and I didn't notice it, so it had like a weird look to it. If I hadn't done it, it would have been perfect. It didn't even have any wrinkles. So, oh well. things happen, right? Everybody makes mistakes, and this was it. I was like, oh, it turned out so great if I didn't do that. But oh well. So I do put a little bit of Mod Podge in between those layers because that's why it looked funky. And then I'll go in with my little mini press and kind of smooth it out again. So close. The struggle, guys, the struggle today. Anyways, I just go over it with the mini press. Anytime you do that, it's going to help you kind of avoid some of those wrinkles. And I taped it down with some painter's tape just to try and keep it from moving around. I had my fan on and it was blowing all over the place. I'm going to take some of the antique wax from Waverly. Nope, this one's still folk art. I'm working on the same container of folk art antique wax that I have had for probably probably close to 2 years. We're getting really close to the 2-year mark, and this bottle is still going strong. Don't worry, I have a backup of I think I have like 2 bottles of Waverly as a backup or something, so I'm set on my antique wax. But I'm gonna just kind of go around and give it a nice little antiquing. I did it a little heavier on the bottom, that way it was way more, it looked way more not obvious, way more, I don't know, I can't think of my word today. I did it because it would look more intentional. There we go. It looked more intentional, all of that antiquing in the bottom. Not that I messed it up when I glued it down. It's okay. It happens to us all. And then I'm taking a little piece of sandpaper. I think this is like a 220 grit, and I am just removing all of the excess. I think the sandpaper has like almost no grit left to it. So it's working for me though. And now that I've done that, I'm going to go through, make sure I've got in any little pieces that kind of stuck to it because it did have Mod Podge on it. And I will go and distress all around the outside edge as well because you want it to give it that nice kind of overall look. Don't worry, right now you see just a blank handle with, you know, a line where the tissue paper was. I'm going to fix that too. I am going to wrap it with some really cute black and white twine. We're doing all like lemons and black and white and gingham, and it's just farmhouse beautifulness. So here you see it with just a really cute little bow at the top. I thought it was just a nice, cute touch. On to our next one. Now, this one is part of like a little kit that Chocator does. You can easily do other things to get the same effect if you do not want to purchase the whole kit. The whole kit is meant to make like a garland that you string, like a string garland. Is that probably the right way to say it, call it? I don't know. Anyways, it comes with a lot of these little lemons and the 2 different patterns and some ribbons and all kinds of things. Here's an alternative. I'll use that guy in a few minutes though. That one is just from Woodpeckers, and it is a thick, chunky lemon. You could always like drill a hole in it and kind of get the same idea. You could easily like Mod Podge a printed napkin or tissue paper on top of it to get kind of the same effect if you're not doing, you know, if you're not in love with the Chocator idea, which if you're not, that's okay. If you are, I'm here for you. I love it, so I still am doing it. I'm taking a little bit of their surface wax and giving it a quick coat, which I will find out in a minute that that was the wrong side. That is one thing I'm not loving when they do these kits, is there's always a right side and a wrong side, and they have it in their mind that certain ones go with certain ones. Like I wanted to use the just slightly distressed print for the like the leaves. It didn't go with the florally one, the polka dotted one with the floral, and I didn't like that one, so I am painting it green, but you'll see that in a minute. But once I've gotten my everything kind of cut out, and they'll show you if it needs to be cut apart, there's lines that are there for you to cut, super easy. I do my fuzzing, which is basically just going to add a little bit of fuzz to the transfer, make it to where it doesn't stick quite so much. And here's my moment when I'm realizing, oh, that was the wrong side. There's a right side and there's a wrong side, so be aware of that. So I'll take my transfer and line it all up, easy as can be. If you have some that are a little harder, you can always line it up upside down, like where you're actually placing the surface on top of the sticky part. I'm going to take my same bumblebee that I used on our very first project, and I'm just going to take my mini squeegee and push that all the way through the silk screen transfer. It couldn't be easier. It's like buttering toast. It's super easy. Anybody can do it. If you have like arthritis or have some kind of dexterity problem and like you can't do stuff with Cricut or things, this is probably a really good alternative for you. If you're interested, let me know and I'd be happy to kind of help point you in a direction. And like I said, I did paint the top part of it. You'll see it in a few minutes when we're all finished. And I painted that in the Waverly chalk paint in the color Fern. And now I've got these beads. I did some wood beads that I painted black. And then as soon as I was done painting them, I was like, wait a second. I have buffalo check ribbons, or not ribbons, buffalo check beads. I'm going to use those. So I did those in kind of like a little pattern, 2 of the buffalo check, 1 of the black. So cute. Love it. I'm going to just take some of this cotton twine from Dollar Tree and wrap it around my hand a whole bunch of times, and I'm going to do an awful job at making a garland or making a tassel. I'm not even going to show it to you. That's how bad it is. It gets there. I mean, it gets done. So that's a plus, but I am not the one to teach you how to do it. Same with this moment right here, me attaching it to the little lemon. Again, still not the best moment of mine. It's okay though. So I knew going into it that I was going to use those holes to attach it, and also that I was going to run some ribbon through it to give it kind of like a little bow, just to make it super cute. Everything in here I just felt like came out so cute, if I do say so myself. But I'm going to just run that through that other hole. Use a skewer if you ever have problems doing those kind of things. I can never get them to work, so why not just make stuff work for you? I'll make just, again, a shoestring bow. Super cute. I think I had to do it once or twice. I don't know what it is up with me in this ribbon today. So I'll get it to the point where I like it, and then I will go ahead and trim it off, giving it some really cute little dovetails. For the longest time, I'm not even joking, I called it ducktails. In videos, probably towards the beginning part of my YouTube life, I called them ducktails. And all of a sudden I saw somebody wrote it somewhere, like in one of the chats on Instagram or something. And I was like, oh, that makes a lot more sense. I was calling it a ducktail. Although when I first started trying to make them, they ended up looking like ducktails. So it probably worked out. I would always cut them at the wrong angle. I'm adding a little bit of hot glue on the back of the lemon just to keep the string part to go in the direction that I want it to. And once I do that, I'll just hot glue down my ribbon a little bit because the little tails were just not cooperating. And that is about done. So cute. I think this might be one of my favorite parts. I'm not sure. So to make sure we do some non-chalk stuff, don't worry guys. I have this from Target. I'm using a lot of Target stuff today. I do unscrew it from the part on the top, and I did cover it in Mod Podge, let it dry completely, and now I've got this napkin from Dollar Tree. It is just a big old lemon. I'll take my parchment paper. I really should have taped it down as well because my fan was on and it was blowing all over the place and I was trying to get it all lined up, and this is the moment right here when I should have just taped it, because I was like, well, I'm just gonna wing it. If it's a little off, it's a little off. It ends up being a little off, but that's okay. It's gonna be mine. It's gonna be in my house, so I will survive. Anyways, parchment paper on it, smooth around with either an iron or a heat press or whatever. This is again just my little mini heat press. I think I usually set this up to two or three, either like the middle or the hottest. I haven't had any problems doing it on that where it's like it doesn't get too hot, you know what I mean? On the lower side, I only use the lower side if I'm gonna like iron out my wrinkles in like the tissue paper before I print on it. I will do that a lot of the time, and that's when I'll use it on the lowest, and even then I don't have it. I have it on I don't have the parchment paper in between. So anyways, sorry, chatty here. Here's how it turned out though. Super cute too. Everything is super cute today. I hope you guys agree. I have these little jars, it's like little milk bottle-y kind of things. I think they came from Hobby Lobby. I've definitely seen them at Dollar Tree as well. And when I printed the stuff for the cutting board on the tissue paper, I printed a couple of extras as well. A couple of extra little lemon slices so that I could add them to this cute little bottle. And I believe it's just spray painted white, so it's super smooth already. And I'll just take a little bit of water on the edge of a paintbrush and tear out the lemon. I'm just going to show you adding one of them. I believe, end up adding 2 halves and a whole lemon. Slice, not a whole lemon, but a whole lemon slice. I think you know what I mean. And that way it kind of gives it a little something extra to the bottle, but at the same time it's not like completely covering it. You could totally do a pattern on it. That'd be so cute too. And I will just lay down some Mod Podge, pick up my lemon, and then smooth it down with my paintbrush with a little bit of Mod Podge on it as well. It's going to help kind of get it nice and smooth. And this one right here turned out, that first one turned out like picture perfect. It couldn't have been better. I did it a few other times. It didn't turn out as good, so that's why I showed you the good one, only the good one. I'll add a little bit of antique wax, up to you. Totally don't have to do that, depending on what your look is. And I don't have one, and I totally need one. I need like a yellow and white striped straw to stick out of that. If that isn't the sweetest little thing in the world, I might have to check my Dollar Tree and see if I can find it. Isn't that sad? I want to buy a whole pack of straws just to do that on this one project. I think that would be adorable. Let me know if you've seen them in your stores. If everybody tells me they've never seen such a thing, I probably won't find it. It probably doesn't exist, but maybe I'll have to make one or something. Get like just a regular white one and make one myself or something. I use that same twine that I used on the cutting board though, just to kind of tie everything together, pun intended. And it's so adorable. I think this one turned out really cute too. And we're on to the last one. I have this little lemon chunk that I showed you before. I have already coated it in actually the bumblebee chalk paste that I used, just so it would kind of keep the same colors. I just take a little bit of antique wax just to go around the perimeter of it, just to give it kind of more shape, more definition. And then that's pretty much the extent of that one. That's all it took. I know that one was super quick. So I hope you guys really liked all of these lemon projects. Don't forget there is a playlist to check out, and that you check out Brenda over at Monter's Market. And if you're new here, I would love it if you would consider subscribing, and I will see you next time.